And hello everyone, and welcome to a new Monday stream here on Access the Animus. My name is Marco, and today we're going to prepare for update 1.5.2 that is going to release tomorrow for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And a lot of its content is going to involve doing a lot of river raids. So today, in preparation for that, we're going to actually do some river raids and get some currency. While we discuss the notes for update 1.5.2, and of course we're going to have our classic chill stream that we always have on a Monday. So let me check if everything is working. I think it is, yes. So in the meantime, Sari is tuning our ride for the river raids. Like I mentioned earlier, we are going to let me check the audio real quick. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the notes for update 1.5.2 have been released today, a few hours ago. We're gonna read through them throughout the stream as well, but basically we can expect to have a new building being added to Ravensthorpe, to the settlement, and this building will allow us to use the loadout feature. Basically, we're going to be able to showcase up to 5 loadouts. Hello, Ospot, welcome to the stream. Vanessa, welcome to the stream. Wasting time as well. Hello. That is probably what we're going to do today. We're going to rank up some of the currency that we have, the exotic currency that we have in the river raids, and that's because the Armory building that is being released tomorrow with update 1.5.2 for free, you will be able to build it and also upgrade it with the currency from the river raids. That is, I don't recall the name for it. It's something like exotic resources or something like that. So, hello Roland, welcome to the stream. Tailgate, welcome. Vanessa, will there be a new max level cap? I don't think so. I think that we're gonna read the patch notes later, but as far as I know, you are going to foreign supplies. Thank you so much. Exotic supplies, something like that. There's not. As far as I know, there's not going to be a new max level cap. But if you have reached at least 200 in terms of power level, you might get a new mastery point. Because like that's mentioned in the notes. So that's kind of like an additional point if you have reached that, which is not really hard to reach if you have played the main game. Samantha, welcome to the stream. Is it sad that I'm more excited for this than I was for the last paid DLC? I wouldn't say it is sad, because if you are very much into gameplay, especially the loadout feature that is going to be released tomorrow is super useful. Actually, we have discussed both in our videos and also in a podcast that we had with Joe Raptor and Andy Reloads, that maybe the issue for the loadout system being released tomorrow is that it's a little too late for that. So the issue for me is just that, because the loadout feature in itself is super useful. Like, you can have like your combat build, your archery build, and your stealth build ready at the tip of a button, which is super useful. And we're going to stream it tomorrow as well. So yeah, it's an interesting question, wasting time. Are builds a thing in Valhalla though? They are technically, but practically I never felt the need to use any build at any point in the 300 hours that we have spent playing Valhalla. So the only thing that I felt at some point, sometimes maybe I felt the need to have a build oriented towards stealth sometimes, but usually putting the hood on is already enough to do the stealth sequences, in my opinion. I think it would have been much more useful at the start of post-launch when you were still doing a lot of stuff in the game. Now, I would imagine that people that are still willing to test the new patch are long-time players and long-time fans that have already finished the game by now. So I would expect a lot of people to just jump in the game, test the armory building and the loadout feature, the river raids rewards, and that will be pretty much it. So it would just stay at 535 until the next update. I would say yes. The game isn't really completed. Usually they raise the power level when there is some big... What's that? Why is that? There was a guy running on the side. He was scared because of the fire that we have on our super scary boat. But yeah, usually the power level is raised either with the main expansions like Dawn of Ragnarok or Siege of Paris or Wrath of the Druids, or sometimes with the other kind of story content that you can get, like Mastery Challenge or Tunes of the Fallen, but I don't think that they raised the level cap for those. So unless they have a new huge expansion, I don't expect them to raise the level cap that much. Hello Hernan, welcome to the stream. So nice to see you again. It's such a shame too, because I was hyped for a new grounded DLC and we got Dawn of Ragnarok. Yeah, not amazing for me as well. I'm not really into the mythology stuff. And even when the mythology stuff is used to tell the Isu story, while it was pretty good in the main game, I wasn't a huge fan of how it was executed in Dawn of Ragnarok. The other side of things is that the other DLC that had been planned for Valhalla has been rumored to have been transformed in a mainline game. So if that's actually going to turn out to be true, which is very much expectable at this point, we are going to have a game set in Baghdad, and that's going to be very grounded. So let's say that we had to go through the mythological stuff, but hopefully whenever it is, like end of this year or beginning of next year, it's going to be a grounded AC, hopefully. Mr. Meme, welcome to the stream. Do you prefer playing on quality or performance? I think we have set, like now we're playing on PC on NVIDIA 3060, and I think we set up for quality rather than performance, because the graphics card can hold it. Before we started streaming, we had just a 960, and that was crazy. We were not able to stream at all. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I do prefer playing on quality when the platform allows you to do that. Of course, because if you don't have like a proper platform, like old gen with Valhalla, sometimes it kind of struggles, and like old gen PCs as well. Oh, Spot, you're starting. For those of you who might not know or might not be familiar with our streams, we usually have Spot in the chat writing down some riddles that we can read all together and trying to get what the answer is. Usually we're talking about a main character in AC, but it might not be necessarily the case. And this time along with, as Ospot is saying, along with telling the answer, we also have to provide why that is the answer. Hello, General Clanker. Hello, welcome to the stream. At least you didn't say hello there this time, so we cannot say General Clanker. we hope Ubi announce something in June. Probably, hopefully, maybe. Who knows? I would expect them to have some kind of show in June, because that's what some of the major companies are doing. And that's the classic E3 window. But I also wonder, like, what do they have? What are the aces under their sleeves? Because I would imagine Valhalla's post-launch to go up until November, which means an announcement for Rift would have to have a campaign that lasts a lot of months. So maybe they might announce Rift later, who knows? I'm honestly kind of tired for all these new settings and protagonists. For now, I just want sequels to the characters we have already. A lot of fans have been asking for those, but judging from the reaction by the casual fans, which are the much bigger majority, a lot of fans are enjoying new settings and new fantasies also, because like Valhalla is not just the Viking Age, but also it's the fantasy of playing as a Viking, much as Odyssey was the fantasy of playing your Odyssey as a mercenary or whatever. So Ubisoft is not just selling a character or a setting, but also a fantasy. And that does not always work when you're doing a sequel for a character that is already known. So I guess that's the reason why Ubisoft usually recently, well, in the last few years, they've always done like new settings. Is there any news about keeping the hood on whenever we want, even in combat? Oguzan, I hope that's the proper pronunciation. Welcome to the stream. There are no news in that regard. I see a lot of people asking for that. And the reason for that is not only because it was mentioned, I think, at some point during the campaign, but also there have been some trailers, even the CGI trailer for Dawn of Ragnarok, where Odin is fighting with his hood on, while you cannot do that in the game. So a lot of people were hoping to fight hood on in Dawn of Ragnarok, but it's not the case. And update 1.5.2, as far as I know, I read the notes, I don't think there's any hood on combat. I would expect them to mention it properly, but they did not. So hello Skatha, welcome to the stream. Elena, welcome. Oh, this is the new riddle by Ospot. I didn't read it. So the riddle, it's about as usual, I think, an Assassin's Creed character. The riddle that you can see in the chat is: his words distorted, his mind perfected. Who is that individual who speaks through the evils? Interesting. His words distorted, his mind perfected. I'm gonna say I have a few potential answers for that. I'm gonna say my answer is Clay Kasmarek, subject 16. His words distorted because he was used by Juno in order to have Desmond to follow the path that Juno had planned. So that individual who speaks through the evil is Clay, because he is speaking to Desmond, but he is very much pushed by Juno to say what he said to Desmond. So that's my first answer. 80% correct pronunciation. Oh, that was close. I always try and do my best to have the best pronunciation for words that are sometimes very foreign to me, and even like names, especially even in the videos. I still tend to say Eivor while it should be Eivor. And when we did the Irish themed videos because of Wrath of the Druids, I tried my best to do the pronunciations. It wasn't always amazing. The good thing about AC is that it takes us to several new settings, so you also can try and experiment with your pronunciation about different stuff. Wow, I got it first attempt. That was Clay Kasmerek. Oh yes. No, at the beginning it wasn't too easy. I mean, I thought it could be Aita because of his mind and everything. Yes. I mean, it's been a few streams since I got my last riddle or spot, so I'm happy that I got one. So this means that in like for, I don't know, 4 or 5 Mondays, I'm not gonna get any riddles. Hello Atef, welcome to the stream. Ed Bailey, welcome to the stream. Wolf Chat, do you think... Oh, yeah, okay. Do we have to give reasoning? Okay, yeah, sorry. I was reading through the chat because I was also following Sari as she is making her way through this raid location. Hello Adam, welcome to the stream. Tailgate, the problem with having DLCs available from any point in the story means that they can't have spoilers for the main game, so that explains why they felt disconnected. I think that there are ways to do that without having this disconnected kind of issue. They did this with Origins and even Odyssey. They can just put a spoiler warning at the beginning, or even just make it clear at the beginning that this is taking place after the events of the main story. The Hidden Ones DLC for Origins, for example, had the historical date when it was taking place, and also it had an NPC telling the story of Bayek, making you understand that Bayek is already an established character, and now you're playing the continuation of his story. And I think the same went for Odyssey as well. There were warnings, like it's not only a warning about the power level that you have to have, but also about the chapter that you have to have played. They were pretty direct with Dawn of Ragnarok. They said, hey, you need to play the Asgard and Jotunheim arc and possibly the ending of the game. So it can be done. I think on the long run, especially, it damages. It causes more damage to have DLCs released like this, because on the long run you will have finished the game. I don't know a lot of people that actually tend to play the DLC before the ending of the main game, and even if you do, it's such a I think such a minor percentage of users that get to play a DLC before the ending of the main game, that I think it's not like you get much more backlash than satisfied customers. So I don't think it's a good policy to keep on doing in the future. So you can actually farm the supplies. For me, mid-raid long ago, I stopped receiving... Yes, Kata, you mentioned that in one of the videos, that like in our most recent videos. I think we can. Maybe later Sari can try and go back and see if we got the foreign supplies. Back then when the river raids were released, I think that the issue was that if you got all the rewards in the store, then you cannot accumulate more foreign supplies. I'm not sure if that's an issue that is still there, but just in case I don't get all the rewards in the store, just to get prepared. If we in the occasion that we might have a stream like today, so at least hopefully tomorrow we're going to have at least enough enough supplies to try the armory building and also the rewards. Oh, spot. Try this, Marco, the hard one. Okay. A warrior without his axe. I missed it, of course. A warrior without his axe. A leader without his army. Fate delivers a second chance to redeem its unsettled life. Okay. This is tougher. How are you getting the supplies from the river raids? I'm doing it and only getting leather and iron. We're getting the supplies, like I mentioned earlier, because we haven't redeemed all the rewards in the what's it called, Vans store or whatever. So the key is pretty much that one. I think maybe once we're done with this raid, we can try and go back and see if we actually got the supplies. But I think that's... You left an item as well, but it stopped at some point. Replayable, more like repeatable. Yeah. I think that River Raids is one of the most boring and more repeated... it is replayable, but the more you play it, the more the raids feel the same, and you do a lot of raiding in the main game already. So... we're doing this because it's been a long time since we did it. We played the River Raids on stream, and also to prepare for tomorrow, so we can show you the rewards and the armory building. But if we had the chance to do anything else, we would have probably done that. A warrior without his axe. A leader without his army. Fate delivers a second chance to redeem its unsettled life. Okay. I'm pretty sure that a warrior without his axe is not really a warrior literally without an axe. It's too easy. This is a hard riddle. So, a leader without his army. Fate delivers a second chance to redeem its unsettled life. Elena is saying the riddle answer sounds like it should be one of the Asgardian Isu again, because of the reincarnation. Doomslayer, welcome to the stream. Good evening, I've been up since 6 a.m. That's kind of like your entrance in our stream. Hello, I've been up since such an early time in the morning. It was 6:30 for me this morning, so I absolutely feel you. But at least, like I always say, we are just having fun here, chilling. I think you can just go through. Can you? You could, but but yeah. Like I said, like we're just here to chillax. So this is the proper place to just have fun. After a hard day at work. Maybe Eivor. He first gets his father's axe at the start of Valhalla. He has to start a new clan from scratch in England, and he is Odin reincarnated. I think it's too easy to be Eivor, and Allspot said it's not from Valhalla. Dang. Okay. I haven't even gotten all the St. George armor yet. Raiding was probably my least favorite part of the game. I agree. I remember I'm not sure if I can mention this, but I mean, it's not too big of a deal. But when we were called, Sari and I and other mentors, to test Valhalla in, was it 2019? Or no, it was January 2020, I think. That was before COVID started. We tested an early version, an early demo, an internal demo, for Valhalla. Actually, we tested two, and one of those was about raids. And at the start, you could actually select whether you wanted to do them stealthily or head on. Which meant that you could also get the rewards while doing the raid stealthily. So you did not necessarily have to use the horn in order to get the rewards. So you could consider the raid locations also like huge forts that you could stealth your way through them, and to get the rewards that you wanted. But already by the time that the game was announced, this wasn't the case. Like, you can still stealth your way through the locations, but if you want to get the rewards, you very much need to sound the horn, which means fighting instead of stealthing your way through, which wasn't really amazing. Where's the boat cat? The boat cat is in the boat, but not in River Raids. Nali is only in the main game because the ship that you're using, the boat that you're using, is not Eivor's, it's Vaughn's, and you get to customize it and whatever, but it is a different ship, meaning that the cat is not there. Everything in the riddle is a metaphor. Potentially, yes, I would imagine. A warrior without his axe, a leader without his army. At least we know that it's a he. I wouldn't imagine Allspot to use a metaphor on the sex or gender of the character. So everything is a metaphor. I got hurt because Marco got it correct in the first try, so you made it super hard. Okay. Sorry, Allspot. Not really sorry, though. A warrior without his axe, a leader without his army. And it's not from Valhalla. A warrior without his axe. Can I ask if it's a main character? Or it could be like a side character or another character? Like, is it a main character of the games? Probably too easy. Too much. Like, answering that would be probably too much. I really like the Wayland armor set. It really looks good once it's fully enhanced. Yes. Because we were about to play with the River Raids, I set up to this set. The Wayland armor set is. Did you make them fall? No. But you turned around to see if you did. Yeah, I love the Wayland armor set as well. It's cool. It's black and yellow, which usually makes an outfit look really cool. And also, like, the details of the outfit are very nice. Actually, this would have deserved to be an outfit for like a reward kind of outfit, and not just something that was added to the store. But not complaining too much. We have it. It looks amazing. So maybe we can go back home and see if we got the rewards. Oh, you needed to, I think, to use the. Yeah, there we go. And you get to the house. Okay, so let's see if we can bank our loot and see if it works. I don't know if it's a main or side character. Interesting. Okay. Perhaps Altair, because he lost his army in Revelations and rebuilt Masyaf. By the way, anyone found the purpose for the wooden stick yet? I think this belongs in a castle. Does Eivor say something like that? This belongs in a castle. Hopefully don't know. I mean, honestly don't know. A warrior without his axe, a leader without his army, fate delivers a second chance to redeem its unsettled life. That's always my answer. Oh, okay. We got our John's Viking rank up. Let's check the store and see if we got our... Yes, we got our rewards. Our thing is... I think we can... Shall we go on with the raids? Yeah. Let's keep all the... all the currency for tomorrow. I hope that the next AC doesn't have so much fantasy stuff it ruins the atmosphere. I do agree, Grey Fox. Hopefully, looking at the rumors or leaks, which all come from proved, like people that already leaked stuff in the past and they turned out to be correct. So, based on that, the new game is codenamed Assassin's Creed Rift, and it should take place in Baghdad in the 9th century. So hopefully that's not really based on mythology, rather than it should be much more grounded. Can you tell us more about the early demo? Honestly, I don't know. I should ask Ubisoft, because up until the launch of the game, we couldn't really talk about it. Then we could kind of talk about it. I do remember this. This is not a huge thing. I do remember that when we played, it was the Lincolnshire arc. One of the two demos. One demo was dedicated to the raids, and one demo was like it was called the FP, which meant first playable, and basically was the first playable version of Valhalla, and it had so it was very rough, as you might imagine when games are being developed, and it had like a portion of Lincolnshire. It had Lincoln as a city as well. So we could test social stealth, and in there there was also like the Lincolnshire arc. We could play a bit of it, and the nice thing there was that they didn't have the voice acting done yet, so a good portion of the lines said by the characters were actually voiced by the devs. So there were characters voiced by Darby. I think some characters were voiced by Ashraf Ismail, and other writers, I think, or like it was weird to hear the voice of the devs in the game, but it was cool as well. And what else? Like there were most of the activities that we have found in the main game. The Animus anomalies were called a different name, but I'm not sure if I can say it. What else? We tested one Animus anomaly, and the dialogue was the same one that we got. Only it wasn't voiced. Like it was voiced by an automatic kind of voice, so it was very robotic, like kind of metallic. So we couldn't even understand what kind of voices they were. So of course we could not even recognize Alithia's voice actors. What else? If I can think of other stuff that I'm pretty sure that I can mention, I will do. I have a look at the chat in the meantime. Could axe refer to the fact that Altair misses a finger, therefore he can't wield an axe? A warrior without his axe, a leader without his army. That's interesting. Fate delivers a second chance. I mean, it could be Altair. A lot of you guys have mentioned that in the chat already. Could be Altair because he was an assassin leader, but then he was pretty much exiled, and then he came back, got a second chance, and became a mentor for the assassins, and he rebuilt everything. Tailgate. I watched Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness today. It was a fun movie. WandaVision definitely adds a lot to the context of the movie. I agree. Sarah and I watched it, I think, last week, 2 or 3 days after it came out. I would say I enjoyed it. I wouldn't make the best Marvel movie out of it, as I've seen some people mention on Twitter, because there were some silly moments in there that I wasn't a huge fan of. But it was a fun movie. It had some pretty cool moments as well, a lot of interesting visuals. And yes, WandaVision generated a very good setup for the movie. It's not only a setup, like it's not. It's very difficult to understand Wanda's struggle in the movie if you haven't watched WandaVision. It's kind of like mandatory, or almost mandatory. Like, you can watch the movie, but it's not. It does not feel the same if you haven't watched WandaVision. I'm pretty sure axe is another word for guitar, which requires 5 fingers. Calvin, welcome to the stream. Hello, Marco. Just watching your stream. I'm ready for the update tomorrow. I thought it was today at first, but then I realized it. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us in our stream. Yeah, usually updates are released on Tuesdays. Festivals are released on Thursdays. And the patch notes are, again, usually released on Mondays. So if the patch note is out, usually the day after that is the day for the update. Apart from the last update, 1.5.1, where the notes were released on the morning of the same day when the update was released. Piotr, welcome to the stream. You're also ready for the update tomorrow. You guys are much better than Sari and I are, because like we always wake up at the last moment to gear up for the updates. Both because usually the game allows you to just be able to enjoy a new update without having necessarily prepared. But for river raids, I've always found out and believe that in order, like the requests for the foreign supplies for any kind of item are usually, in my opinion, they are too much compared to the value of the items. So in this case, we were planning to have a Monday stream as we usually do. So it was the proper occasion to prepare for tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to stream again. So tomorrow, of course, we're going to showcase the update. So tomorrow we're going to discuss what the update adds to the fray, and thus if it's useful as it sounds or not. And at the same time, we're going to probably play some more river raids, because there's also going to be some river raids rewards in there. So there's a lot of river raids farming to be done if you guys like to upgrade the armory. If I'm not mistaken, there's going to be 4 upgrades for the armory, and all of those are going to rely on the foreign supplies from the river raids. Plus, there's going to be the river raids new rewards. So there's a lot of river raiding to be done. So here we are. I've been taking a break from Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I've been streaming Division 2. Oh, I saw that, like, the announcement and the trailer for Season 9. Is it cool? Like, how long has it been since Division had its last update and its last season? Because it seemed like Ubisoft was making like a big thing out of this. Is Ragnarok on sale yet? Yes. As far as I know, yes, because I had another AC fan and a friend writing to me 2 days ago, I think, and they were saying, "Hey, I trust your judgment. Now that Dawn of Ragnarok is discounted, and then you can also, on top of that, use the Uplay units or whatever they're called. Like, he was able to get Dawn of Ragnarok at something like $22, like the equivalent of $22. He's from Canada. So I suggest you guys have a look at the stores, and if you are on the Ubisoft store, you can try and get Dawn of Ragnarok discounted and then use the Uplay units on top of that. And if it's $20 to $25, it's a much fairer price. So if you are interested in Dawn of Ragnarok, this might be the proper moment to play. Or you could also wait more, because I would imagine the price to drop even more. It's been 2020 since they did Season 8. Ooh. So it's been 2 years, 1 year and a half. Yeah, $20 sounds reasonable. Sounds reasonable for Dawn of Ragnarok, because it adds a lot of new gameplay content, which is worth it. The new game world, there's a story in there as well. The last thing I want to do is river raids in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah, you can stay with us and just have a chat, so you don't have to do the river raids. And also, as far as I know, the Armory tomorrow, yes, it will rely on having some of the foreign supplies from river raids. But the moment you build it, I think you should have at least 2 loadouts. So if you are okay with that, you don't have to do any more river raids. Guys, think harder. We can't last Spot flex on us. I'm giving you guys 30 minutes. If you guys can't guess the guy, I'm gonna give the answer, but you need to explain it. Okay. Very much. Very well. So, a warrior without his axe, a leader without his army, fate delivers a second chance to redeem its unsettled life. Could be another assassin. William Miles. Why that?
No army for him.
Oh.
Making his son be killed.
Oh, that's nice. Ooh, William Miles, I like that. A warrior without his axe, because Desmond died. A leader without his army, because the assassins were pretty much wiped out. Fate delivers a second chance to redeem its unsettled life. That's a good idea. Let's see your Spot. What you have to say. Difficult to think of the answer whilst trying to prepare for a meeting with my dissertation supervisor at the same time. Yeah, it's kind of difficult. So you're getting closer to, like, is this another dissertation you're having, Elena? I think you mentioned that you had other university tasks that you had. I hope I'm not mistaken. I'm not mistaking you for somebody else, but just the fact that no new map makes tomorrow's update kind of meh for me. At least the different raids, location with different enemies. Not William, but great attempt, Sari. That was good. Yeah, grinded it shall be. Yeah, because there's no new raid map. So that just means repeating over and over and over and over and over again the raids, as Sarah is doing today, and probably we might be doing tomorrow as well. But at least tomorrow we can have a look at the armory and test the loadouts. Because I honestly, even if I feel like it's kinda not really useful at this point, but I'm a huge fan of the loadout system in general in games, so I can't wait to test it anyway. I had a bunch of papers due earlier, but this is my master's dissertation that I'll work on until September. Oof. Wow. So this is like a tough time, but an important one as well. Fingers crossed. A warrior without his axe, a leader without his army. Is it a historical character though? Or is it like a modern day character? A leader without his army. In the meantime, because I can't think of anyone at this point, at this moment, we're having Sari. We're following Sari as she is raiding a monastery now, I would imagine. Yeah, I really love the Wayland armor set. So cool. Yellow and black.
For a change, I'm going stealth.
You're trying to go stealth? Okay. Very well. Let's see how much time before they find you out. It's 9:02, so it's like 9:02 in here. Let's see how many minutes before they spot you. Edward Kenway after Roberts put him in prison. Did they spot you already? It wasn't even a minute. No. Thanks, I'll need all the fingers crossed. Then I'm off to go study in Germany and continue to work there. Wow. Well, that's cool. What kind of work? Like are you going to have more like dissertations and stuff, or like different kind of work? That's cool. I wish we could travel more as well. Not for work, but I wish we could go back to Gamescom. Honestly, that was like a huge time for us at Access the Animus every year. Because at Gamescom we used to host several events in partnership with Ubisoft. We did the Assassin's Creed Trivia, where I asked a lot of questions about the lore, with huge prizes and stuff. Then we had the community dinners with the devs, which was always, like, they were always amazing. And Gamescom in general is an amazing place to gather with friends and like to play games and whatnot. Actually, today I have a Gamescom t-shirt. Didn't even plan to mention it, but Ubisoft's plan taken into the real world for the electronic shop. For example, here is your PS5. 2 years later, when the console is broken and you go to return it, here's your receipt, and we're not sorry. Which part of Italy are you guys from? We are from the northern part of Italy. We are between Turin and Milan, so we're not close to the sea. We are actually in the plains, in the northern plains of Italy. Hey Towel, welcome to the stream. New sub, love the videos. Thought I'd stop by. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us in the stream as well. And thanks for your kind words. We're trying to do our best. I know I'm being repetitive a bit when we get compliments, and when I personally get compliments. But really, we try to bust our bums off every time to try and bring you the best content, and especially some kind of unusual content as well. So not the stuff that you can find usually anywhere else. For example, the next video might be something unexpected. I'm just writing the script at the moment. It involves the ISO language as well. I'm not gonna say anything more, but it's tied to something that we have already played in the past, but we all missed. So soon on ATA, fingers crossed. It's going to be in hopefully towards the end of the week, because with the patch and all, like, we're going to be busy tomorrow. So, hey guys, just came here. What it is about that question in the chat? Hello Yara, welcome to the stream. The question in the chat is basically the question in the chat is basically a riddle that Allspot always has in our streams. It's basically a side activity that we are always having here while we're also playing and having like a chit chat here. And it's an amazing thing that Allspot does every time. And it always brings the chat together to try and figure out what he conjured up this time. So basically, it's a riddle about an Assassin's Creed character, I think. They didn't mention if it's a main character or a side character, but they said that it's not from Valhalla. So it's not about a character from Valhalla. And it's not William Miles, and it's not Altair. So that's pretty much to sum up what the riddle in the chat is. You can't just tease us with the next video like that. Yes, I can. I can because I'm kind of excited, because I just stumbled upon this kind of thing while I was checking something else entirely, and I was like, what? But this is it's not something huge, but it's something that might be tied to some upcoming content as well, and it's been there for some time, and I think nobody noticed. So we'll see about that. Maybe somebody else is going to post about it before our video is out, and I will be like, no. But oh, thank you guys so much about the kind words and saying that we deserve more subs. It shows your work is very high quality for the amount of views, subs. Thank you so much, Towel Light. I hope that we're going to reach that target at some point. It's been a slow period with Dawn of Ragnarok, but I think that Dawn of Ragnarok has been a slow period for all the AC content creators and YouTubers in general. I hope that with Rift we're going to have way more content that is also more connected to the kind of fans that we have, because we are very much oriented towards the lore, also gameplay and news and etc. But we do both. So I would expect that Rift, I would expect Rift to bring more lore content that we can discuss on the channel, for sure. If only because it's about Basim and Baghdad. Not Achilles. Mr. Meme, love Italy from Norway. Oh, thank you so much. I love Norway as well. I would love to go there actually, because I love the sites and the environments. Like I would like to go and visit some of the fjords at some point in the future. We may do this with Sari. Back a few years ago, well, many years ago, we thought of going to Norway, and then we postponed the idea. Can't wait. Yeah, it should be a few days. Life has been tough recently, been very busy, so I haven't been able to write the script properly. I'm halfway through now. That is going to be recording and editing. So with the new update coming up, it's gonna be a few days more. I'm stuck in cold embers in Dawn of Ragnarok. I cannot restart. That's your ATA stream right there. I cannot restart the mission and I can't progress. Any suggestion? Suspect Puma. What is the mission actually? Because I've seen that there's a lot of fixes coming up for Dawn of Ragnarok with the update tomorrow. So there's a non-zero chance. I'm not gonna say good chance, but there's a non-zero chance that the update tomorrow might fix your issue. I think there are some fixes connected to the missions involving Tira, but there's many more. With the amount of times fascinating is mentioned, I'll never be able to use that word without thinking of these damn riddles. Uninstall Valhalla and go play a better game. I mean, we did play AC3. Not sure if it's a better game. I do love the modern day Enisu stuff, both in Valhalla and in AC3. For a second, I thought my dog went ballistic. No, it was our dog who went ballistic. Out of curiosity, do you write the scripts in Italian first and translate to English, or write it in English straight away? Back then, a few years ago, when we started ATA, I used to write the articles that we posted on our website in Italian, and then either I translated them or we had other members of the team translating them. As of now, I just write directly in English. It's less time consuming. It's pretty much the way it is. So I'm like, in the last 2 years since we relaunched the channel, I tried to fine tune in order to make fine tune all the process in order to make all the parts of the process faster. It's not always fast anyway, but some of the news videos I'm able to create much faster than I did 2 years ago, and part of that is also writing the script in English. I also did try at some point to just improv without even writing the text. It wasn't always a success. There was a video, I don't remember, it was about some news last year, where I improvised the entirety of the text apart from the intro and the outro, and sometimes I stopped thinking or something like that, and when I edited it and posted it, I remember a lot of people getting in the comments and say, "Hey, are you okay? Your voice seems kind of different than usual. Are you okay?" And I was like, okay, maybe I should just write the script down and go back to it. Oh, Spot, is it Connor? A warrior without his axe, a leader without his army. Fate delivers the second chance. I'm not sure if Connor had his second chance, but not in the games. Like at the end of AC3, the players get to see that Connor failed, because like at the end in the post-credit scene, Connor saw that everything that he did during the American Revolution, it didn't stop and it didn't save his people. Like, his people are still very much abused or like controlled by the Englishman. Anyway, at the end, like when he sits down at the campfire, he still sees that what he worked for did not bring the result that he wanted. So 5 minutes remaining, so it's not Connor. Arfa, welcome to the stream. Quick question: remaining updates, DLCs, game modes, expansions in 2022. Also, do you think we'll get any new content, at least minimal, in 2023? I'll answer the second one. I'm gonna say no. I don't expect content for Valhalla in 2023 because I still believe that they don't want to have communication and content overlapping. So if they're going to announce Rift either this year, and if Rift releases at the end of this year or start of next one, they don't want to have more Valhalla content still hanging. As for 2022, what we know for sure almost sure that is going to happen is part 2 of the Tombs of the Fallen activity. New Game Plus is coming, although it's going to come at the end of the post-launch, so it's going to be probably the last piece of update that we're going to get for Valhalla. And then I hope, because Darby McDavid teased it, there should be something about why Eivor ended up in Vinland. Not sure if that's tied to the game. I hope so. I hope that there's an actual storyline where Eivor goes to Vinland. So that's it. Plus, I think that the post-launch producer also mentioned another game mode coming, but I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. Will we get New Game Plus for Assassin's Creed Valhalla at some point? I think yes. The idea is, we discussed it in our podcast with Yoraptor and Andy Reloads as well. The idea is that the New Game Plus will come at the end, because pretty much it has to take into consideration all the updates, all the new features and stuff. But at the same time, if you the way Valhalla is created and has been developed, you need to do the prologue in Norway in order to get to England, and then do some arcs to have the settlement running. So most of the features of the post-launch features, especially, are tied to a specific level of the settlement. So when you get New Game Plus, you will be forced to do all the prologue in order to have all the features that you are used to have. So I think that the devs are trying to figure out a way to either not have you go through the prologue and just get to Ravenstorf, so you can have all the settlement features and systems, or something else. So the idea is that they still have to figure out. And for what I remember, Jose Araiza, who is the producer that always discussed the post-launch, he did mention that New Game Plus will come towards the end of post-launch. Pretty much. A warrior without his axe. 2 meaning remaining, and then Spot is going to reveal the answer in the chat. A warrior without his axe, a leader without his army. Who might that be? A leader without his army. A leader. Fate delivers a second chance. I don't feel it's a solid idea. I also thought of Desmond because he was leading the assassins, but no, Desmond is not a good idea. No, so that's a no. Shay was never a leader, but he did have a second chance with the Templars. Could Axe refer to Altair's that ex-girlfriend? I forgot her name, but she was in Altair's Chronicles. No, in Altair's Chronicles she was called Ada, I think, and she was called the Chalice or something. Time's up. Gonna reveal. Maria was in AC1, and Maria Thorpe, yes, she was in AC1, and also in Altair's Chronicles. I'm mixing the games. Altair's Chronicles. No, Altair's Chronicles had Ada, I think. The answer is Bayek. The answer was Bayek? And now we need to explain why. Oh, cool beans. Thank you so much for the donation. That was very kind of you. So, and you have a question, quick lore question. Does the Norse Isu resurrect again and again, or is it one and done? The answer is one and done. So, at least, the more confirmed answer to that is that the Asgardian Isu, the Norse Isu, like Odin and his friends, to make it simple, which shouldn't be officially called sages. There's been a long discussion over the wiki about whether they should be called sages or not. But it's one and done, and that is mentioned in King Alfred's study. So if you have finished the game, cool beans, I suggest you go to Alfred's study in the cathedral in Wessex, and you should find a document that pretty much says the order of the ancients is following. They're not believing in God, but they are believing in these lesser gods called the Isu. That's what they're saying, and the order of the ancients is believing in these lesser gods to be reborn multiple times. When they are reborn multiple times, they are called sages. Otherwise, so this means that the Asgardian Isu are not considered or called sages. Otherwise, they can also be reborn once. So the Asgardian Isu, the Norse Isu, are reborn only once. And the reason for that is that basically the Isu used a method that doesn't have a name, but it's called the 7 method of salvation, and pretty much in order to there were different types of this method, and the version of the method used by Juno created the Aita sages, and those are reborn over and over again, while the version of the method used by Odin is different, is the original one, and it has the Isu be reborn only once. So that's pretty much the answer. Hernan, thank you so much for the donation as well. So kind of you. And you have another question as well. So if we have an Origin/Odyssey crossover, where do you think is setting? In 38 BCE, Amunet had 47 years old, and the Roman Empire starts in 27 BCE. I'm not sure, because like the crossover with Origins would have to use the Origins map. I mean, they could create a new map as they did in Odyssey. If they created a new map in Origins, I would expect it to take place to be located in Egypt. I wouldn't expect it to be Rome. I mean, I would love Rome, but when you're thinking of Origins, you're not thinking of ancient Romans. So I would expect it to take place in Egypt sometime after the events of Origins, and it would have Aya coming back to Egypt once again. I can't see Cassandra going to Egypt and not meeting her descendant Aya. That would be weird, and I would like to see that. I mean, Cassandra meeting her own descendant. That's super weird. So I would like to see it. What else did you mention in the question? Let me check back. In 38 BCE, Eminet had 47 years old. I would like to see an older Aya, like a more experienced and also like a mentor kind of Aya. Like, she's already a mentor pretty much at the end of the Hidden Ones DLC, but I would very much like to see a more experienced, a more like more wisdom, more knowledge of the world in Aya. I would love to see that. So yeah, that's pretty much my answer. And once again, thanks for the donation, Herman. He's the last Magi, so no army. He ends up redeeming himself by starting the Brotherhood, a selfless act. And the axe is because he's always down bad for Aya and she's always missing from him. Soon I'm gonna give away a gift card if you guys guess the riddle correctly in the later streams. Really? Wow, that hotspot, you're... Wow. That's so nice of you. Thanks for doing this in our streams. It's so cool because this is like a community growing up without even having to do anything. It's so nice that everything happens naturally. I love this. Let me try. So, soon I'm gonna give away a gift card if you guys guess the riddle correctly in the later streams. Let me reread the riddle so I can try and give an explanation about Bayek. A warrior without his axe. A leader without his army. Fate delivers a second chance to redeem its unsettled life. I'm gonna say the last part, the fate delivers a second chance to redeem its unsettled life, is because his life is very much shaken after Hemu dies at the beginning of the game. So you could also consider Bayek a warrior without his axe because his son died. And he gets a second chance to redeem its unsettled life. Not only because he creates the Brotherhood, but also at the end of the game you can see that there's a kid that he basically asks to be taken home, and Bayek with Hemu, he said something like, "You can go back to your go back home, and I will reach you, and I will follow you later." And that's where Hemu gets caught, and then he gets killed. So at the end of the game, when Bayek sees this kid, he says, "No, I will take you home," and it's something like some kind of like growth moment for Bayek. So yeah, the Origins ending was very nice. It was very meaningful for Bayek for sure. So a leader without his army. Why is Bayek a leader without his army? Bayek is a leader without his army. You could consider him a leader without his army because the mentor that gets remembered is Amunet, while Bayek gets forgotten in history. So he is not really a leader of an army anymore by the second part of his life. Last Magi. So yeah, I saw a lot of people, well, some people mentioning in the chat that he's a leader without his army because he's the last Magi. So there's no other Magi's. Not sure about that. Maybe. Ospot should tell us if that's the case. Why is he a warrior without his axe? I believe that's because Hemu died at the start of the game. Are we in Ireland now? There we go. So we pretty much did all the rivers.
No.
Some of the rivers. We did some of the rivers. How do you pronounce this? Ashley? I would say Ashley Fort. So yeah, my idea is the warrior without its axe is because he's a Magi, but his son died. Yeah, that's also true. Maybe yeah, that would imply he's a weapon, so maybe that doesn't work. You're right, Elena. The ending in Origins was very good. I worry without his axe. Yeah, the ending in Origins was very good. What I didn't like about that is that it is the ending itself that has the origins, the titular origins from the game. So like you're playing maybe, I don't know, 50, 60, 100 hours, and you don't get to see a lot of the origins of the Brotherhood. You get to see how Bayek got to create to the point where he has to create the Brotherhood. But pretty much the origins of the Brotherhood itself are in its last 5 minutes. So in the last 20 minutes, I would say, since the moment where Bayek and Aya are close to the sea, and they get to see for the first time the logo, the symbol of the Brotherhood. So that's the origins of the Brotherhood are very much the final 20 minutes of the game. So the ending in itself is cool, very memorable. Also the Aya part with Caesar. To me, probably the game should have been called Empire, as it was meant to be called at the beginning, because it's more about the Egyptian Empire coming to a close and the Roman Empire getting hold of the region, while the Brotherhood is always like it's important, but it's only at the end. I don't think there's going to be an AC movie sequel. Yes, I agree. I think that, yeah, as General Clanker said, thank Disney for that, because that's a property they moved to Disney, and I think it was either in a concept phase or there were some rumors, and then Disney cancelled the idea. The ending felt very rushed compared to the rest of the game. In Origins, yes. To be honest, to me, the last act of the game. So since when you understand that Flavius is the main villain, from then on it's kind of rushed. It's very fast. Sometimes it's not really properly explained why you're going from point A to point B. There are some issues in the third or like fourth part of Origins. For a warrior, axe is the most valuable and precious thing. It's his life, and he is attached with it. Similarly, Bayek is connected with Kemu, so I got it. Okay. A leader without his army, and fate delivers a second chance. Yeah, the second chance is the Brotherhood. Bayek wasn't able to save his son, and he's going to try and save other children and other people that are overwhelmed by others that try to control them. I'm not sure about the you posted the explanation. I didn't see that. So Bayek without Chemo, the Forgotten Leader, a new redemption in the ending, the formation of the Hidden One. Okay. So a leader without his army, it's because he was a Forgotten Leader. Okay. So I was kind of close with the explanation at the very least. Again, thank you so much, Ospot, for having like these riddles while we're playing. It's so cool to be having fun while we're also playing and also waiting like for the new Valhalla content to arrive. So that's cool. I think the ending in Origins shows us the conception, the idea, not the formal process informing the Brotherhood. In the Hidden Ones, we see the structure, customs, operations. Yeah. So if you consider it to be like a broader interpretation of the word Origins, so like the whole flow of events that led to the creation of the Brotherhood, so the whole set of origins, then it's understandable because that's how Bayek finds and uses the Hidden Blade. That's how Bayek has the motivation to create the Brotherhood. So that's understandable in that regard. I agree. How many riddles do you have ready to go? Ospot 20. What do you mean 20? If you want, I can give it. I haven't started the Hidden Ones DLC, so I can't say much beyond the base game ending. Elena, I suggest you... Is it Elena or Elena? Anyway, I suggest you play the Hidden Ones DLC. It's one of the best DLCs out there. To me, it is much better than Curse of the Pharaohs, even if it's smaller and it costs less. I very much suggest you play it. I think it's much better than both expansions in Odyssey. It's probably better in terms of story. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, it's better than Wrath of the Druids and Siege of Paris, I would say. It's very heartfelt, especially the ending. The ending is one of the best ending of the DLCs in AC in general. Elena. Okay, Elena. Okay. I'm used to British people pronouncing it wrong. So it's Elena. Okay. I'll try and be better. Elena. Okay. Chance Chamberlain, welcome to the stream. Do we know how many foreign supplies we'll need tomorrow? No. That's a very short answer. No, we don't. I would imagine a lot of them because in order to build the Armory building, you will need foreign supplies. In order to upgrade the Armory building, you will need the foreign supplies. And every upgrade to the Armory building will allow you to get a new loadout set in your inventory. So that means there's 5 loadouts. So I think there's going to be either 3 or 4 updates, depending on how many loadout slots you get at the start. And then there's also going to be a new set of rewards for the river raids, and those will also require the foreign supplies. The river raids rewards will include 2 weapons. One is a scythe and one is an Atgear. So they're both weapons from the DLCs and they are free. And the Atgear will be the first free Atgear for players. And then there's going to be a new facial hair, a new hair set as well. So in short, probably a lot. The idea that something like a Brotherhood and the Creed needs years to have a final form is interesting. To be honest, they have also they have always tried to show that there isn't a a definitive form for the Brotherhood. Like in every country, the Brotherhood is different. There are different branches. They are different from each other, and they are also different from themselves throughout time. Like the British Brotherhood is different at the time of Edward Kenway and in the modern day, for example. Yeah, and even the ideas about the creed, the interpretation of the creed, is different in different parts of the world in different times. That I think that's the beauty of AC, and it's something that sometimes is missing from AC. Not all the times. It was missing from Odyssey. The discussion of the creed is somehow in Valhalla. There are some moments where the creed is being discussed by Basim and Hytham especially. And of course, it's a different interpretation from what we have seen in other games. Giuseppe, welcome to the stream. Are the giants Jotnar and Muspels, Isu, and the normal, tall Jotnar human? I'm gonna say my interpretation is that all the Jotnar and Muspels are different Isu. And the reason for that is that humans are portrayed as humans in the mythological arcs. So when you go to Jotunheim and you get to the feast held by Suttungr, there are actual humans that are serving the mead and the meat and also like the food at the banquet. And Odin actually comments saying like, do the Jotnar have human slaves? So the humans in the mythological arcs are portrayed as humans. So in that regard, they are similar. Which is also why I believe that the dwarves are just a different type or race of the Isu and not humans as well. I have 1,800 supplies ready to go. I think that's... I hope that's more than enough. Because... I mean, surely with 1,800 you're going to cover all the upgrades to the Armory. Not sure if that's going to be enough for all the upgrades to the Armory and the River Raids rewards, because there's a lot of them. But I would say that 1,800 is a lot. So, well, good job in accumulating all of them. The Templars think they know everything about the world. The Assassins know that they don't know everything and that they're always learning. Yes. Agreed on that. It's interesting to see the creed evolving and having different interpretations about the creed. Shall I give a code that you guys can decode? We can try. I'm not sure if it's suitable for a stream, but we can try. You could write a code. I'm not gonna be able to decode it or like try and use decoding systems because that would make the stream very boring. Because like when I'm trying to translate and decoding stuff, I'm always usually I am super focused and super silent. Giuseppe, thank you so much for the donation. You're very kind. If you have any question, especially because of your donation, I'd be happy to answer. Yeah. Thank you so much. If you have any question about AC in general, and especially about the lore, if you have any more doubts, I'm always here to try and help. Also, please, I have only so much brain power in a single day. Ooh. I would try and do that, but I can't. I'm gonna let the chat handle the coding there, Spot. Because if I had to, like I mentioned earlier, I would just stop talking, just look at the screen. Not amazing. But Odin and his friends don't have the golden tattoos like Greek and Roman Isu. I think that the golden tattoos, or like the golden lines that you could see, I think only in Odyssey, because the Isu that you see in AC2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, they don't have any golden lines over their body. That's something that they introduced only in Fate of Atlantis. Well, no, that's incorrect. They introduced with Fate of Atlantis and also with the Hair of Memory quest in Odyssey to make the Isu more recognizable. I'm not sure whether that's canon or not, because Odyssey and especially Fate of Atlantis is the only occasion, along with the Hair of Memory quest, where the Isu are shown with these golden things on their arms and stuff. While even in Valhalla, the Isu do not have anything on their arms, and in the other games as well. Like Odyssey is the only moment where we get to see. Is the only moment where we get to see these golden things on the arms and the face as well. So I think that's more like graphic stuff. In Fate of Atlantis, it was used also. Like there's a human that turns herself into an Isu with a device, and after she turns herself into an Isu, she has the golden lines on her arms, meaning that in there they were trying to show that if people have those lines on their arms, then they are Isu. It's like a visual identification, but I don't think that's part of the canon. Who would like to see a modern AC game? Do you think they might make one? EB, welcome to the stream. I don't think they. I would like to see one. I don't think they will ever do that, because AC is part history and part modern day, and moreover, the modern day is the part of AC that the majority of players do not like. I have to be honest there. I'm a huge fan of modern day and Isu stuff, but you have to be honest there. Like there's a vocal minority of fans that very much like modern day and Isu. I'm part of that, but that does not mean that a lot of people like the modern day, and this means that very likely Ubisoft is not going to cater to them in a massive way. I did love that in Valhalla's main game, the devs did have a lot of Isu content and a lot of modern day content that was satisfying, in my opinion at least. And the devs also tried to make the modern day part of the historical experience with the Animus anomalies, where you don't have to get out of the Animus, and you can just have modern day content within the game world, which was a very good idea in my opinion. Even though I love getting out of the Animus and see what is happening outside. So because it provides the context to everything. But I don't see them having an entire game in the modern day. Not a lot of people would be in for that, and it means that the game would not be successful. So Ubisoft would not do that. Maybe some modern missions, another game that could happen. It happened with AC3. AC3 back then was the most successful game ever. But then you could also say that every game when they released it, especially Odyssey and Valhalla, they were the most successful games. And the modern day in Odyssey was not great, and it did not have any kind of mission out there. I would like to try and have some modern day missions. I love them in AC3. We did one in our latest stream where Sari was climbing the Freedom Tower in New York, and she was scared to fall down from the tower all the time. Maybe in the next stream we're going to do more modern day missions. I would like to see some. I would even like to see some single missions in the proper ISO era, so not the mythological mumbo jumbo, but the actual ISO era. But again, I expect that to happen soon. Will Infinity kill the story? I don't think so. They might have some kind of not reboot, maybe soft reboot. But I think that they're... Oh wow, we have 1,570. Sari is asking me, can we be done with the river raids? Okay, let's be done. Because probably we might do some more tomorrow. Let's go out in the world and do something else. Giuseppe Morello, thank you again for the donation. That's so kind. I thought the draws are human at first. Oh, the dwarves. But I think Valhalla would like to tell there are most Isu types. Yes, I think you are very much on point in there. That's very much my interpretation as well. My idea is that Valhalla is showing that these different races, these different realms are different territories from the ISO era of the world, like different territories of the world, and thus the different people, like the Jotnar, the Muspels, the Asgardians, the dwarves. They are different races or different groups or different cultures of the Isu. So like a real civilization, like the human civilization, it has different countries, it has different beliefs, it has different regions, and the same goes for the Isu here. So I think that's what Darby and the creative team were going for with the Isu in here. So once again, Giuseppe, thank you so much for the donation.
Well done.
What's happening?
Remember.
Oh, hello, Unibear. Where are we? Are we in England? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
You're
Nottinghamshire. No. It's fun. It's fine and fun. At the top of this waterfall, there is... If he jumps, he has like these lines. Can you jump again and use photo mode? We can... There are different color lines coming out of the bear's bum. But why? But why? Why? I mean, it's so fun. It's all in good spirit. Look at this. They're You should take a picture like this, like of the bear. Maybe. Oh. The lines coming out of the bear's bum. Seriously though, with the exception of the Colonial Brotherhood in Rogue, I'll always support the Assassins. I think that same. I think Sari disagrees. Sari is very much oriented towards the Templar beliefs. I think that Rogue didn't portray properly the Templars and the Assassins. It was nice to see things from the Templar perspective, but sometimes it was like cartoonishly shifted. Like most games have the Assassins who are like the good guys and the Templars who are the bad guys. And in order to have the Assassins as antagonists in Rogue, they had the Assassins do so many silly and crazy stuff that they would never do, but they were meant to be bad guys, so they did that, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. Is this a world event?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess I haven't completed this. Archibald. Rogue was such a good game and story. I agree with the story in general. I didn't really like the portrayal of the Assassins and Templars. Yeah, the Assassins just act like Templars, and the Templars, all of a sudden, they seem super honorable. I think that the truth about both organizations should stay in the middle. It should be more nuanced than what Rogue showed in the historical part, but it was still a great game in my opinion. There were a lot of lore connections which were amazing, both in the modern day and also in the historical part, and it had two of my favorite writers on AC ever. Do you think there are a lot of famous historical periods left to adapt? You have to take into account that it is unlikely that we get a game set before the hidden ones again. Your question is very well put, Arfa, because you're saying a lot of famous historical periods, and the answer is probably not, in my opinion, because like we still have amidst the very famous historical periods, we still have medieval Japan. We have World War I and World War II that haven't been explored in the games, of course. Ancient Rome, which hasn't been fully taken on. And then we can have, like, I don't know, Aztec and Maya civilizations and stuff. There are a lot of lesser known historical pivotal moments for single countries and not for the entire world. But I'm not sure if AC wants to go in that. There are, for example, I'm Italian. I know a few moments in Italy, in the Italian history, apart from Roman history and Renaissance. But there are some events in the 1800s which would be super interesting to know in AC, but not a lot of people know about Italian history other than Romans, the ancient Romans, and the Renaissance. So, and the same goes for all the other countries. So I do understand why AC might not go in more obscure historical periods or settings. Giuseppe, thank you again for the donation. You guys are being so kind today. All the donations will help us create better content with better tech. So maybe try and make them even faster. So thank you guys so much for the kind donations today. And Giuseppe asked, an interesting story can be in Mannheim, the Garden of Eden, the birth of the human race. Yes, the Garden of Eden would be very interesting. But again, the history of Eden and the birth of the human race, that would take place in the ISO era. And again, the ISO era, kind of like modern day, is something that hardcore fans love. The casual fans and the majority of fans are not always interested in that. So it's always a matter for Ubisoft to create a game that appeals to the biggest number of fans. So I wouldn't expect a game set in the creation of humanity. Like, that would be amazing. I would like to see more sequences in that regard, but I wouldn't expect to have a full game dedicated to that. Ancient Rome was a giant city. I really hope we get that someday. says Yara, and I agree. The thing is that Rome was already portrayed twice in AC. Actually, 3 times. In AC2, in AC Brotherhood, and in AC Origins. But then again, if you look at London, London appeared even more times in AC, in the games, and not only in the games. So I do hope to see Ancient Rome. I would love to see that. You would also get the chance to have Aya again, or you could also see a different time in the Roman in ancient Rome setting. Almost 40 people today. Yes, today we're super popular apparently. Kazakage, welcome to the stream. So nice to see you again. And you always get towards the end, and well, the thing is, today we started a little earlier, but it's so nice to see you all here, and to see you, Kazakage, especially because you've been here since pretty much the beginning. Lagarde Sombre, he finally made it. Where is Lagarde? I didn't see. What did I miss a comment? Titan K, welcome to the stream. I didn't see you earlier. So many of you guys today. So happy to see so many familiar faces. It's becoming like a great family. Elena said we got up to 41 people earlier.
48 before.
48?
Mm.
Really? Wow. Man, I'm so happy that we are growing our community, even in the streams. 2 years going strong, being subscribed to ATA. Yes, good job, Kazakage. And it's pretty much, since we rehashed and we relaunched the channel, it's been 2 years, almost 2 years, because we relaunched the channel at the first Ubisoft Forward when we got some early footage for Valhalla. So that was, I'm gonna say, August of 2020, something like that. Giuseppe, thank you again for the donation. The Elven Isu, the creators of the Salakar, are interesting too, because the actual Isu don't understand this old Elven culture. Yes, they are very interesting. They haven't been talked about that much. They haven't been mentioned that much. Like, they are introduced with Dawn of Ragnarok, and pretty much is this. But again, the concept of the elves, while I don't like the idea of having elves in AC in general, the concept of a more ancient version of the same Isu civilization is also natural. Like, the English people, England has been out there as a country for centuries. And of course, the English people were not the same as they are now, and the same goes for the Italian, the French, or whatever. So it is so natural to know to see that there were older Isu that had different tech and different culture and different advancements. So and also it makes sense that the more recent Isu are discovering their artifacts in like we are discovering old ruins from centuries ago. So it really makes sense to have like ancient Isu, and that is also reflected in the language. In like the Isu language has some words, some documents that are older than other ones, and we have found out while exploring the Isu language that there are some words or some grammatical cases that are used differently in older Isu documents. Like the Canterbury document is an older document compared to the other ones that we have. What?
Oui.
Sarah, Sari roasted me. She said, we. Because actually she found out, and I'm saying we, but actually Sari found out that there were an older version of the language in the Canterbury document, and also in the Stonehenge documents, right? And that's why they are different from the other documents that we can find. Oh yeah, wow, war. For killing Jesus, God punished the Romans by making them Italians. Wow.
Well,
Shall we say thank you, or shall we say? I don't know. She Yara did say punished, so I mean. Orpha, here's an idea for a video. Forgotten mysteries or unanswered questions of previous games. And you trying to answer them with what we know from the lore. I had been thinking of doing, well, not exactly this, something like that. Because there have been in the past some fans asking for, hey, could you do an analysis for Odyssey, for example, like you did for the ending of Valhalla and the mythological part. It would be probably more interesting, like you said, to go to the forgotten mysteries or unanswered questions. I would also like to do some analysis about the old games, especially the early Ezio games, like the having a look at the glyphs from Subject 16. Or other enigmas or stuff like that. I would love to do that. Maybe in the downtime between Valhalla and Rift, if there's going to be any. Because supposedly this is the downtime because like the updates are slower and they have less content for Valhalla. So maybe we could start doing this already. That's not a bad idea, honestly. Thank you, Orpha. Like you mentioned already for the 7 methods video, it was like I was reading your mind because you said you wanted something like a video like that. It's kind of like great minds think alike. So maybe in the future we could explore some of the old mysteries from the past games. The solar flare theory. The solar flare is a lie. In fact, the temples scattered across the globe caused the catastrophe. They hold the earth like roots, and they need some kind of sacrifice or a battery for it to run. That kind of looks like the Eternals movie, where words have to be sacrificed, or like parts of the word have to be sacrificed in order for the giants beings whose name I don't remember at all, in order for them to be born. Roasting Italians. Have you seen that Family Guy joke about Italians before and now? Yes. I mean, I think they have done multiple Italian jokes. I've seen I've seen the joke with Peter saying babudu 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 babudu. I mean, that's the thing is that's how
it's not so far from reality.
We do the gestures, yes, but do we talk like that? I don't think so.
No, you should ask English people.
Yeah, because I think that's how Italians are perceived, but we don't really talk. I mean, we do have an accent like that. As an Italian, is there anything you don't like about the Ezio games? As an Italian? I know a lot of Italians didn't really like the accent and the way Italian was pronounced in AC2 Brotherhood and Revelations. To me, it's not a big issue. It wasn't a big issue back then, and it's not now, because like I said, that's how Italians are perceived. So, if Roger Craig Smith and the other voice actors had talked a bit more with the actual Italian cadence, how do you say, like the structure or the pronunciation, and not the one that people usually believe to be the Italian pronunciation, people wouldn't have said, "Oh yeah, that's an Italian guy." So they wouldn't have recognized Ezio as an Italian character. So, and it's something that only if you are Italian you would get, because from the outside, the way we pronounce stuff could seem similar, but there are some big differences. But it wasn't an issue for me. The way the historical characters were portrayed was also pretty okay for me. I would say the Medici were portrayed pretty well. I would say the Pazzi as well. Cesare Borgia was probably portrayed a bit too on the crazy side, though he was a crazy historical character. What else? Was there something that you didn't like as an Italian about the Ezio games?
I don't even remember.
Sorry, doesn't even remember. What else? I didn't. When I played at first, I didn't even realize when Desmond goes in front of the Altair statue in the Monteriggioni Sanctuary. He says, "What's the matter, you, Altair?" And apparently, that's a mockery for Anglo-Italians or like American Italians, because it's like mocking Italian people or Italian, like people that have origins in Italy. But I did not know back then. So maybe I might be a little against that, because that's kind of like mockery rather than a joke. But that's it. I'm surprised and happy. I'm positively still surprised today that they had so many Italian swear words in AC2, especially, and Brotherhood as well. Like the moments with Caterina de' Medici in Forlì, they are crazy. Like they are such a flight of bad words and such dirty talk in AC2 that I did not expect to see at all. Tailgate. If Ted Farrow from the Horizon games were a character in ACS modern day, would he make a good modern day Templar? Probably yes. That's a good question. Because I haven't played Forbidden West, but like the Ted Farrow from Horizon, he makes the mistake and then he tries to correct it at any cost for the betterment of humanity or whatever. So he would make an okay Templar, I would say, even though he's not good enough, and if he makes a mistake, he resorts to his old friends that he had very much cast aside before. So Ted Farrow is a very complex character in Horizon. So it would be nice to have such a character in AC as well. Oh, thank you for joining us, Ospot. It was amazing. I think he left already, but it was incredible to have the riddles again. Can't wait. Tomorrow we're going to have another stream with the content from the update. So make sure to tune in. We're probably going to be around 8 p.m. CET, kind of like today. And if Oswald is live again, we might have more riddles while we're playing. Ironic how the Greek/Roman said everyone else is a barbarian. That's true. And that now applies back to Italians from Americans and British. Yes, That is true. Back then, the Greek and Romans said, hey, we are the cultured people, and everyone else who wasn't Greek or Roman was considered as a barbarian. And now the tides have turned, apparently. Triton, I didn't read what you said. I can't pronounce that, of course. I'm not gonna moderate that because it's just... I mean, you could say that's something that you could read in AC2. It's been mentioned a number of times here. I would hope Finnish AC game... the language Perkele. Yes, even though I remember there was a Finnish member of the community back then. Perkele or Perkele is a swear word in Finnish, I think, that Otzoberg pronounces in Assassin's Creed Rogue, I think. And I remember that Finnish fans back then complained because that's not the actual pronunciation. It's not Perkele, but it's something different. I would love it 100 times over Malacca, honestly. But probably only because we have had an overload of Malacca over the years. Says a lot about Odyssey that the only piece of dialogue from it that people remember is Malacca. Kinda. Hopefully I would be there, sir. Thank you, Kazakage. If you can make it, should be. We should start at 8. Hopefully if everything goes according to plan. Not 100% sure. As usual. That's why I'm not always able, pretty much almost never able to write down when we can have the stream. And the future streams as well. So hopefully at that time, otherwise sometime after that. One of the many things I find really interesting about the Horizon games is that modern humans in those games look at our civilization the same way we look at the Isu. Yes, I 100% agree. Like, Horizon is my next favorite game and franchise because of that. Because it is actually reversed AC. Like, in AC we have the modern day that is looking, modern day characters and historical characters that are looking at the past for the Isu. And in Horizon we have the people, let's call the people of the future, that are looking at us, at the people from the past, as the characters in AC are looking at the Isu. So the knowledge from the past is not there anymore in Horizon, and people are digging and they are finding the tech and the knowledge from the people of the past, which is the people from the 2100s or something like that. Neket Yadet, that's from Origins. Favorite AC novel and favorite non-fiction book? Mine would be Last Descendants, only one I have read so far, and Essential Guide Volume 2. I'm gonna say favorite AC novel is Heresy, and second favorite novel is Forsaken, and third might be The Secret Crusade. So Heresy is like, it has historical part, it has a modern day part, it has Alan Rickman in there. There's a lot of cool stuff in Heresy, and it's written so well. As for the non-fiction book, I am biased because can I say I worked? Yes, I worked as a consultant on the Essential Guide Volume 2, the one that you mentioned, Orpha. So I and the former leader of the Assassin's Creed Wiki, Master Simayi, we both, and also Sorasis from our team, we worked we double checked and proofread some of the text for the Essential Guide, Volume 2. So yeah, that's one of the pieces of transmedia that holds a piece of my heart, even though a lot of the suggestions that we sent over were not ultimately put in, but yes. So yeah, and other than that, the encyclopedias 1, 2, and 3 from the 2010s and up until 2012, they were also some amazing books. Triton K, Marvel or DC, and why? The answer is yes. I never spent enough time reading the Marvel and DC comics. So the only thing that I can say, and that I compared it to companies, is only for the cinematic universes. And I really like the Marvel Cinematic Universe a bit, like way more than the DC one. In terms of comics, though, I wouldn't be able to say anything. I do know the characters, of course, some of the characters, but I have never read properly the Marvel or DC comics, sadly. The calculations again, stop reading my mind. Heresy is amazing. The only thing I hated big time was the plot twist at the end. Yeah. I think we have discussed this already in the streams in the past. There's a plot twist at the end of Heresy that I'm not going to spoil for you guys, but it goes against historical facts, and AC sometimes does that. And it's not. I mean, it's not amazing, but if it fits the purpose of the story, sometimes I can get that. Like Tesla also doesn't die in the historical actual date where Tesla died. In the Bloodstorm comics, you can see that Tesla died sometimes later. Conspiracies, actually. Yes. So sometimes it happened, and it's not amazing, but at the same time, it is to fit the purpose of the story. I haven't read The Secret Crusade yet, but Altair is already my second favorite protagonist. So I wonder how much more will the book make me like Altair. I would say a good deal. I would say it tells. It's The Secret Crusade. It's nice as a story because it's not just a book that you are reading, but the book, The Secret Crusade, is actually a journal, and it is the actual journal that Ezio is reading while he's traveling to Constantinople. Actually, if you get the book, you will see that it has a very tiny prologue dedicated to Ezio that opens the book, and it's called The Secret Crusade, and it has like I don't know, January 1250 or something. Like it has the dates about old Altair, and then it goes back to the history, if I recall correctly, to the history of Altair from when he was young up until when he meets the Polo brothers, like Marco Polo and Maffeo Polo, and that's pretty cool. I really suggest you read the book. It's very nice. In my opinion, the Snyder cut of Justice League movie is one of the most boring movies. Really? I remember people saying it was okay. How long is it? Is it like 4 hours, right? I'm a hardcore Zack Snyder fan. Restore the Snyderverse. So watch it, dude. No. The The Secret Crusade is a must-read for AVAC fan. I agree with that. It's a must-read, and that would be the kind of transmedia that I would always love to see, because Secret Crusade was released in the summer before the release of Revelations, and it was pretty much a prequel to Revelations, and it was the book that Ezio reads while going to Constantinople. So you get to see the story of Altair and what happens to himself, but also his family, his two sons, and the book provides much more content to the Altair memories that you see in Revelations. So in that, the book acted as a proper prequel to Revelations, and it was released before Revelations. So the exact opposite to what happened with the Forgotten Myths comics and Dawn of Ragnarok. Like, Dawn of Ragnarok was released, and then the prequel was released afterwards, and there's not a lot of interest because you already know what happened before. So the prequel is much less powerful. Honestly, when it comes to DC, I only care about Batman. For Marvel, I'm mostly a Spider-Man guy. Same here. Chat or Marcos, is AC Forsaken a good read? Yes, 100%. That's another take on the style of transmedia. That was, I think, the first time where the novels, apart from Secret Crusade, maybe, but like that was the first time where the novel had a completely different story rather than the same story of the games, and it tied in directly to the story of the game. So Forsaken is the story of Hatham since when he was a kid. So that's super duper interesting. It has Edward, like old Edward Kenway, and you get how Hatham is turned into a Templar, and also how he interacts with other Templars as well. Sometimes he gets betrayed as well. There's a lot of story in there. I really suggest you check it out. Kazekage, if you haven't already. Just take your time to read it if you have it, because it's really amazing. What else? Imagine if Revelations was just an audiobook. I wouldn't like that. Revelations is an amazing game. For what it was. I think I saw a question by Orpha. Is AC Rebellion canon? I'm gonna answer you with the same answer that Amar provided back in 2017. And the answer is, the devs tried their best. So, short answer is probably not. Like, a lot of stuff in Rebellion is not really good. It's not really canon rather than good, because the game itself is amazing. Like, it's a free to play, so it tries to force you to buy the Helix credits and whatnot. But in itself, it is a very strategic game. I remember a few years ago playing it and getting to the end of the main story. You really need to find the proper characters with the proper abilities in order to complete the levels. It's a good game gameplay wise, for sure. What is the best place to start with AC books and comics? The best place to start with the AC books and comics is the Assassin's Creed calculator. This is like our marketing moment, like just Assassin's Creed calculator. This is our tool that we released 2 years ago, and that we had an update during our anniversary. Basically, it's a tool where we are suggesting you the proper order to read the books, comics, the games, the video and audio materials. So in there, Tailgate, you can go and pretty much you can select, I would like to only read the AC books and comics, and it will tell you since the beginning those were all the books that you could read, and you can choose them. It tells you how much time it will take you to read based on your preferences and your reading speed. Also, it has links to the various AC Wiki pages of all the books and comics and the games as well. So you can decide for yourself what kind of books you would like to read first, and which others you can decide to leave behind or read at a second time. So that was our marketing moment. And instead, if you don't have time to read all the AC books, like I said, in terms of books, I suggest you read Assassin's Creed Heresy, Forsaken, and The Secret Crusade. And in terms of comics, I always suggest reading Assassin's Creed The Fall, The Chain, and Brahman. Those are the best comics out there. Triton K, outside of Assassin's Creed, what are your favorite video game lores? If lores is a word, mines are Mass Effect, Halos, and possibly a hot take, Gears of War. I remember back then trying to understand a bit more about the lore of Gears of War. I played up until the third game, and then I stopped. To answer your question, I'm gonna say Horizon. Horizon is my favorite video game lore, because recently I've gotten a lot into this Star Wars lore, but in terms of video games, I'm gonna say Horizon. Horizon, 100%. Both because it's like it is reverse AC, and the idea of the concept of finding remnants of the past that can help you reshape the future with technology mixed with nature and stuff. That was an amazing concept, and I love it. My favorite comic book movie is Avengers Endgame. Same. Very easy one. The Kingdom of Bernicia. I thought I had completed all these ones. My favorite comic book movie is... Okay, yeah. I guess Ubisoft must really like 1942 Spain because they made a movie, 2 games. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. They had a lot of stuff in there. The lore of The Witcher 3 is insane. I agree. I played Witcher 3 up until a certain moment, and then I promised to continue and finish it, and I never did. I spent so many hours on that game, and I never finished the main game without even talking about the DLCs. God, I love Red Dead 1. Oh, yeah. That's another... lore and franchise that I love, and that I really liked playing with Red Dead 2. Best lore in a video game is Black Ops Zombies. Really? I remember when they dropped the timeline, it was awesome. Really? I think the reason why I prefer the MCU over DC is because I'm tired of cynical takes on superheroes, and Marvel movies are more optimistic. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes the DCU takes itself too serious. The 3 newest Gears of War games dive head on into Gears lore. Really? You're missing on so much insane stuff by stopping a Gears 3. Yeah, I never continued. It's not like I didn't like it anymore. I did like the gameplay concept of Gears of War. I just moved on to other stuff and then I didn't get back. Then the Alfheim tattoos look like the gold lines from the gold. A little bit, yes, from the Greco-Roman Isu, yeah. Wow, look at the time. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think we can wrap up, actually. I had so much fun talking to you guys. I didn't even realize it was getting this late. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us in the stream and for the very kind donations and also for all the questions. I had so much fun answering your questions and also seeing Sari playing the river raids, and I had so much fun because I was not playing them and it was Sari doing that. So but other than that, we got to prepare ourselves for tomorrow. So guys, if you have some spare time tomorrow as well, tune in. We're going to be around we're going to be live around 8 to 9 p.m. CET, and we're going to play with the update 1.5.2 and the content that it adds to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So guys, once again, thank you so much for being so numerous in the chat today and in the stream as well. I think I will see you in 24 hours. So have fun, take care, have a good night or a good day wherever you are. Bye.